In 1926, Michigan's Barnes-Hecker mine blew apart, killing 51 miners in a flash. An underground lake broke through, turning tunnels into death traps. This disaster wasn't just bad luck. It was a brutal lesson in mining's dangers, showing just how deadly digging for iron could be. We're digging into this forgotten slice of history, where a day's work turned into a fight for survival and changed mining forever. Welcome to Disastrology. Here unfolds the tale of the Barnes-Hecker mine disaster. The Barnes-Hecker mine, operational since 1923 in Michigan, tapped into the region's rich iron ore, vital for the booming U.S. economy. Positioned near the Great Lakes, this location was strategic for transporting ore to major industrial cities. Before modern transport infrastructure, these waterways were essential for moving materials, linking the mine's output with the demand in cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Toronto. Michigan's iron ore, crucial for the nation's industrial growth, constituted half of the U.S.'s high-quality ore, underscoring the mine's significance in the broader mining landscape. The establishment of canals and locks linking the Great Lakes revolutionized transportation, ushering a new era for cities and industries along their shores. This network made the lakes navigable to the ocean, amplifying the economic pulse of the region. Cities burgeoned, manufacturing thrived, and the movement of goods and resources became streamlined. This infrastructural leap not only enhanced trade, but also fueled the expansion and industrial prowess of cities, marking a significant phase in the economic development of the Great Lakes corridor. After the development of canals and locks, the Canadian Shield's stark landscape, stretching from the northern U.S. to the Arctic, played a key role. The Canadian Shield's landscape, influenced heavily by ancient geological events, is defined by its vast area of exposed bedrock, extending from the northern United States to the Canadian Arctic. Its formation is a result of billions of years of plate tectonics, erosion, and glaciation, creating a terrain rich in minerals and dotted with numerous small lakes, swamps, and thin soil layers. The region's glacial history has left a legacy of soil stripped of nutrients, making it less absorbent and leading to the formation of many bodies of water as the glaciers melted. This geological history has a direct impact on mining operations and settlement patterns in the region, with the terrain being rich in iron and other minerals, which spurred mining activities like those at the Barnes-Hecker mine. The landscape is also characterized by mud deposits and a variety of ecosystems, including dense boreal forests in the south, transitioning to taiga and tundra in the north. This geological backdrop, combined with the improved Great Lakes transport, underpinned the area's economic and industrial growth, setting the stage for strategic natural resource utilization and regional development. Cleveland Cliffs Iron Company, running the Barnes-Hecker mine, was renowned for prioritizing safety and efficiency. They embraced advanced mining practices and had safety protocols in place, reflecting a commitment to their workforce's well-being. It opened in 1917 and by 1925 had reached a depth of 1,067 feet. Despite encountering a significant amount of water during its opening, the mine was able to drain most of it from the ore stratum, which allowed mining operations to continue safely for a period. The company's approach was considered ahead of its time, offering programs like English classes for its diverse workers. Yet, as fate would have it, their meticulous preparations would soon be tested against the formidable forces of nature. This looming challenge hinted at the inherent unpredictability within the mining industry, where even the most stringent measures could face the ultimate test in the depths of the earth. About stepping back in time to when mining was like the Wild West. In the Levant mine, miners had it rough, using candles stuck in clay on their helmets for light. Pretty basic, right? Now jump to the Barnes-Hecker mine in the 20s, and it's like they've hit a tech upgrade. They had carbide lamps, way brighter and safer than those old-school candles. And these lamps wouldn't gobble up the oxygen or risk setting the place on fire. Plus, Barnes-Hecker miners had elevators to get them down into the Earth's belly and back up. A big deal compared to the Levant guys, who had to climb ladders or get hoisted manually, which sounds like a workout and a half. It's like comparing dial-up internet to high-speed broadband. Barnes-Hecker was on the leading edge, showing how mining was starting to care more about keeping the miners safe and making their jobs less of a nightmare. It's November 3, 1926. Just a regular day at Barnes Hecker. The place is buzzing. Workers are diving into their grind. Everyone's doing their bit. This mine, since kicking off in 23, has nailed a rep for keeping things tight and safe. Around 150 people are on the clock, feeling good about the day's haul. They're setting up to drill and blast, business as usual, aiming to hit the day's ore targets. Nothing's off. It's just another day. Clear skies, steady hands. Nobody's got a clue about the storm that's about to hit, a perfect scene of calm before the chaos. Regular mining operations unknowingly compromise the stability of a large, water-filled underground cavity. The day's blasting, part of the routine to extract iron ore, triggered vibrations that reached the cavity above. These vibrations, seemingly harmless at first, weakened the roof of this vast, water-filled space, which was not thoroughly mapped or understood by the mining team. As the miners carried on with their work, completely focused on their immediate tasks, they remained oblivious to the danger brewing overhead. This oversight set the stage for a catastrophic collapse, as the structural integrity of the cavity's roof was silently compromised, leading to a disaster that would unfold with little warning. On the day of the disaster, the drilling crew on the 600-foot level was concluding their work, packing dynamite into long holes and retreating to a safe distance, anticipating a routine blast and inspection before lunch. After detonation, the initial explosion tore through the tunnel, dislodging tons of rock and ore, followed by a deafening silence typical of such operations. However, an unusual, escalating noises soon filled the air, signaling the onset of an unprecedented calamity. Above ground, one of the surrounding lakes violently collapsed into the earth, indicating the catastrophic breach below. The underground cavity at Barnes Hecker mine was a significant geological formation, filled with water and sediment, looming above the mining activities. This cavity, formed naturally over time, became an inadvertent part of the mining landscape due to the miners' excavations. Although the miners were aware of its presence and tried to mitigate flooding risks by draining it, they didn't fully grasp how this action weakened its structural integrity. Draining the cavity reduced the internal pressure that maintained its stability, setting the stage for its eventual collapse under the lake's weight above. In the mine, the crew had mere seconds to react as the growing rumble turned into a hurricane-force blast of compressed air and dust, extinguishing their lamps and plunging them into darkness. A massive wall of water, carrying debris and the force to crush and break, then surged through the tunnels. Unbeknownst to the miners, directly above their work area was a massive 210-foot-tall cavity, filled with water and sediment. This cavity, weakened by days of drainage to facilitate mining, finally gave way under the lake's pressure, leading to the rapid inundation of the mine. Rutherford Wilford Wills, a 23-year-old miner, was one of the workers in the mine at the time of the incident. His quick actions and knowledge of the mine's layout allowed him to navigate the treacherous and rapidly flooding tunnels, climbing 800 feet of ladders in 14 minutes to the surface and surviving the disaster. His escape was a harrowing ordeal, as he had to overcome the physical and mental challenges posed by the collapsing mine, including navigating in complete darkness and against the powerful surge of water. The aftermath of the explosion was devastating. Efforts to rescue other miners were hindered by the severe and immediate flooding of the mine's shafts and tunnels. During the Barnes Hecker mine disaster, the rescue efforts were initiated swiftly, but were marred by tragedy and futility. As the superintendent and a team of miners waded through waist-deep water in the Morris emergency tunnel to assess the damage, they uncovered the bodies of the mine captain, William, the county inspector, and several others. These individuals were likely concluding their inspection in the deepest tunnels when the catastrophe occurred, attempting escape, but tragically failing. Rutherford Wilford. Wills was the solitary figure who managed to flee the engulfing waters, a testament to the dire situation underground. The rapid flooding, compounded by debris and the mine's structural instability, quickly thwarted any rescue attempts. Within 15 minutes of the collapse, the mine was filled with water and quicksand, making the survival of others an impossibility. In the grim aftermath, 7 bodies were found in the connecting escape drift, and 3 others were recovered from the shaft when it was cleared to the first level. Despite these efforts, the vast majority of the miners, 41 out of 51, were never rescued and remained entombed as the mine was sealed shut. The community of Ishpeming was profoundly affected, with 42 wives widowed and 132 children left fatherless, highlighting the disaster's deep-seated impact. The story of Louis' son, who who learned of the disaster through a passing truck only to discover his father's untimely death due to a shift swap, exemplifies the personal tragedies that permeated the town. In the subsequent days, volunteers from other Cleveland Cliffs mines joined the search, but only 3 additional bodies were recovered. The discovery of these bodies, victims of a ladder collapse, brought the total recovered to 10. Efforts were continually hampered by the mine's conditions, with a mud dam breach reflooding the shaft shortly after the recovery team's departure, leading to the decision to cease further recovery attempts and seal the mine. The mining company, while ruled not at fault by a coroner's inquest in 1927, still provided financial assistance to the bereaved families, offering a pension of $50 per month, equivalent to about $866 in 2024. This act of support, although not rectifying the loss, offered some financial relief to the affected families. Rutherford Wills, the tragedy's sole survivor, subsequently avoided mining, haunted by the disaster, and spent his later years away from the mines, eventually returning briefly for a memorial unveiling before passing away from kidney cancer.
Knowledge and their connections, we've ended up finding people who have connected with other family members that they didn't know.
The group has seen full capacity turnout at the 2 events that were held prior to the anniversary. Tippett says she hopes holding these commemorative events will inspire the younger generation to talk with their parents and grandparents about their family history.
Despite its significance, the Barnes-Hecker mine disaster remains relatively unknown outside the local community. However, the efforts of relatives and descendants to preserve the memory of those lost have been commendable. The dedication of a family historian who preserved newspapers, interviews, and detailed accounts, now continued by her granddaughter, has been crucial in keeping the story alive. Today, a memorial plaque in Ishpeming honors the victims, serving as a poignant reminder of the tragedy and the lives it affected. In the aftermath of the Barnes-Hecker mine disaster, the mining industry, particularly in the United States, experienced significant transformations. The establishment of the Bureau of Mines in the early 20th century marked a pivotal change, focusing on reducing fatalities through research, technology, and training in mine safety. This initiative laid the groundwork for a more systematic approach to mine safety and underscored the necessity of regulatory oversight. Over the years, the number of mine disasters decreased significantly, as evidenced by data from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. This decline is largely attributed to technological advancements, the implementation of stringent safety protocols, and enhanced regulatory measures. The commitment to improving mine safety has been unwavering, driven by the collective memory of tragedies like the Barnes-Hecker disaster and the ongoing need to protect miners. The Barnes-Hecker mine disaster remains a somber milestone in Michigan's mining history, symbolizing the urgent need for safety in the mining industry. Its legacy is not just in the memories of those lost, but also in the continuous efforts to ensure such a disaster never happens again. Today, mine safety is a priority, with the industry committed to minimizing risks and safeguarding the lives of miners. Thank you.